This series finale of Diary of a Madman is brought to you by every single one of you who's ever patroned me, downloaded one of my shows, or bought one of my books. The Madman was always an important story for me to tell, and I was honored that Dohai wanted to come on board and write the second season, and he did an absolutely amazing job. He's part of that community, part of that tribe. You, as fans of the Madman, as patrons who allow me to continue to do these things, are also a very important part of my tribe. Thank you for everything. Thank you for helping me bring the Madman to life and live vicariously through him. Now, for the last public episode of Diary of a Madman. Enjoy.
It occurred to me about 2 minutes into my first diary post. Why not record the actual kill for you? If there's one thing that could make or break you, it's the sound of someone screaming like a baby, pleading with you not to hurt them. I must admit, I ifed and offed, hemmed and hawed about the whole time I've been writing this diary, but hell, why the fuck not? I know that's not for most of you out there, but I thought it might be worth it. If I can bring at least one soul into the flock to help in this effort and deter 1,000 others from being hideous humans to each other, then it's worth its weight in gold. But of course, there's the fact that I didn't get the kill. Fact is, this little wanker didn't complain about his dinner that night, at the table. Their shouting finally prompted a neighbour to ring the cops. Finally, somebody woke up, stepped up. Sod's law is the one night I didn't want it to happen. It's all for naught though. She refused to press any charges and the cops were happy to leave it at that. The following day, everything was all back to normal as if nothing had ever happened. An unmarked police car made an occasional drive-by, but only for a couple of days, and then life, abnormal as a pair of them make it, resumed. The only difference was the fact that this prick now had a new target. His neighbour. It all started with a few looks, which turned to throwing litter on his lawn, which then became a raised voice and the odd veiled threat. 6 months later, they had the shouting match I was waiting for, and BAM! Oh yeah, I got that wife-beating motherfucker. I cut his bollocks off and fed them to him. I had so much fun with this cunt. You wouldn't believe. And I have it all recorded on a smartphone. You gotta love technology. It makes life so much easier. I understand that some of you may not want to hear what I'm about to play you. So here's your last exit. There's no one hearing the screams of a dying man. I want you to pause this recording, go make a coffee, and think. Think real hard about what you're about to hear. If you have what it takes to listen to the glorious sounds of his last moments, then maybe you are up to joining me. I know hearing it and doing it are two completely different monsters, but the work I have started here cannot be finished by me alone. Now, go make that coffee. The next thing you hear will be unforgettable.
What are you doing? Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck
Shut your fucking mouth, Dad. No one can hear you anyway apart from me, and you ain't got anything I want to hear.
You fucker! I'm gonna fucking kill you!
Oh yeah? Go on in, you bag of piss, bring it on. Oh wait, you can't.
Why don't you let me up and meet us a little fairy, you wanker?
What? Like you do with your wife? Or your little boy? You must be so fucking proud of how you can beat your little boy about.
That bitch! Did she put you up to this?
Her conscience is clear, arsehole, unlike yours. I'm gonna leave you a little reminder of my visit now.
What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? No!
Next time you raise your fist to hit your wife, I want you to look down at where your thumb used to be and remember this moment. I want you to remember exactly how easily I could pluck you from the streets and hurt you. The next time you raise your fist to your wife, I will be back, and then I will take the bolt cutters to your cock. Do you understand?
No more! Please! I'll do anything! I'll do anything! I'm sorry! I'm so fucking sorry!
Do you understand? Say it. I want you to say sorry to Mum. Now, tell me you're sorry, Dad. Tell me you're fucking sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry.
So you fucking well should be. You're lucky I haven't got time to make you really suffer, do you know that? But I'll take what I can. I love you, Mum.
This episode, this final episode of Diary of a Madman, was written by Dohai. He's an absolutely wonderful writer, editor, future author, and friend. He's been with me through thick and thin. He's an absolute stand-up character and a very, not only dear friend, but a wonderful humanist, which I think those of you who peeled apart Tyler, the madman, when you peeled apart his story this season, you got that. Make sure that you go follow Dohai over on Twitter at Dohai666. That's DOHAI666. He's got a ton of things, a ton of resources, and other work that he's doing linked out there. Be sure to follow him, because there's plenty more coming from him in the future. The madman, of course, was Kareem Kronfli. Kareem is an absolutely talented voice actor and actor. He can do some remarkable things, as I believe you've heard in this second season. If you're a patron, don't worry. He's not going away just because the Madman story is over. He's actually the narrator in my new medieval high fantasy called Crown of Thieves. It'll be available to patrons and for resale in the future. There will be no public episodes of Crown of Thieves, except for the first one to give everybody an idea of what it's all about, which I will feature here on this feed. So if you are a patron, even at $1 a month, not episode, you're going to get to hear more of Kareem for hopefully a long time to come. I was honored to have him on the show as a Madman. He absolutely nailed it. You can find him on Twitter at BullshotUK. And I have to give a special thanks to our guest in this episode. I was in sort of a bind with this episode because I can't do British accents. I tried to play the victim. It didn't work. And at the 11th hour, Rob Harrison of Gamma Radio saved the day. Rob is part of the Horrible Writing writer support group over on Facebook, my group over there, based on my writing podcast called Horrible Writing. And he is an audio dramatist, writer, producer, director, and actor. Very talented person, very talented. I'm getting to see that in the stories that he's writing in our monthly challenges. So, if you're already subscribed to my newest podcast called The Stories We Tell, you're going to hear Rob and some of his stories out there on those episodes. But you can also find him in his own show, Gamma Radio, which you can find at gamma-radio.co.uk. Go check out Rob's stuff. An absolutely wonderful, kind, giving human being. I want to thank one last time, though I've been thanking him for 2 seasons, Raul Vega of Rose Drive Podcast. Raul offered his talents in music design for this show. He did it in the first season because he loved the idea, and I think it appeals to his darker senses. So he also offered a second season's music. Raul did this out of the kindness of his heart. He didn't ask for anything in return. And though this is a dark show, it's kind of the anti-hero theme to this show. Both seasons, the Madman did horrible, despicable things, but doesn't necessarily mean that the Madman is a horrible, despicable person. I'll leave you to think about what that means in the future. But this is very much a humanist show. Maybe a little naive, thinking the world could actually be a better place than it is, but that's the spirit behind it. So, this season really showed that. Both seasons have, with the folks who were part of the show giving so much of themselves. But Raul is the latest example of that. 2 seasons worth of intro music with nothing asked in return, and you all have to admit, it's pretty amazing music that really brings out the emotional reaction to the Madman, the right environment for the Madman. So, Raul, thank you for being part of this show's legacy. Now, for those of you who are fans of the Madman, I do ask a couple things for you. 1, leave a rating and review for the show if you never have. This show was a labor of love and experimentation, and it played around with darker things that creeped some people out drastically. And some of the ratings and reviews suffered because of that. I get it. It's no skin off my back. I understand. But if you love this show, I still want people in the future to be able to find it. So, ratings and reviews, one last time, please go leave them. Also, if you are a fan of this show, understand that it's not going completely away. In the future, my patrons are going to receive special episodes of The Madman when the time is right. So if you are, understand that you can come over to patreon.com/Paul Sading, and I have all levels of patron support, but there's all kinds of exclusives. At the $1 a month, it starts out with early access, exclusive access to blogs, articles, and in my life. And also, of course, Crown of Thieves. So again, that high medieval fantasy podcast that I'm going to start releasing this spring/summer of 2019. But in addition, higher levels also get extra content, like those episodes of Diary of a Madman that will be coming out. Like the Choose Your Own Adventure podcast, It's an audio drama where my patrons decide what happens next. At higher levels, there's behind-the-scenes stuff, there's monthly stories, there's early access, exclusive access to my audiobooks, all of those kind of things for patrons. Head over again, patreon.com/Paul Sading, and you get all of that for one patronage. And before I get out of here, for the final time, I do want to thank everybody who is part of the Madman legacy. This was an important show for me to create. It gave me a chance to play around with sound design. It gave me a chance to play around to see how creepy I could make things and what the tolerance is out there in the audio drama land for it. Interesting findings from that experiment. I'll leave it at that. But I would never change a thing with the Madman. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, and I can retire this show with my head held high. I'm very proud of what it did, and I'm proud of the accomplishments of the show and the people who were part of it. It never would have been what it was without you. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who downloaded and listened to this show, who put it in the Apple Podcast Top 200 for audio drama in the performing arts. I didn't expect that for this show, and it happened numerous times before I quit looking at those charts to see where it was. It's my hope that you don't ever leave my tribe. In 2018, I published 3 books. In 2019, I've got a couple more that I'm going to publish. And for the future, I'm going to continue publishing. I will remain in podcasting with Horrible Writing and with The Stories We Tell. But beyond that, for the foreseeable future, and probably forever, I'm not going to do any more public audio dramas. They're far too taxing on my time and my wallet. They just don't get supported at the level that they need to. And it's the most expensive hobby I've ever had. So the only hope for future public podcast audio dramas for me will come from donations. You can do that straight from paulsading.com, hit the support tab, or become a patron, and you'll continue to get stuff as you're supporting. But Subject Found Season 3 and Who Killed Julie's follow-on are the 2 things in the pipe. Right now, the first one, Subject Found's 3rd season, is scheduled to drop in 2021. It's that far away. The funding just needs to be there for that to happen. But I will never go away. I'm still going to keep doing audio drama for my patrons. I will still keep doing those public podcasts of Horrible Writing and The Stories We Tell, which is a spoken word, short story, fiction podcast for all voices. Nobody gets excluded in that show, which is absolutely the beautiful spirit of that show. So check those things out. I'll never go away. But click on the link in the show notes here or go over to my website, paulsading.com. Sign up for my newsletter, and you'll never miss a new novel when it comes out. There's going to be 2 Subject Found novels, at least, coming in the near future. 1 this year, maybe 2 this year. But it's not going to stop there. There's more thrillers, more grimdark, more horror, and a lot more fantasy to come from me as long as I'm walking this realm. So if you enjoyed my storytelling, either in this show or all my shows, 1, I want to thank you. But 2, before I say goodbye, at least from this feed, keep that in mind, that I will continue to create. And if you want to keep in touch, if you want to find more of that, head over to paulsading.com. You can sign up for the newsletter there. Follow me on Twitter at Paul Sading. Instagram, Paul Sading, whatever. Just come find me. I love hearing from you all. One more time, thank you to Dohai. Thank you to Kareem Kronfli. Thank you to Raul Vega. And thank you to Rob Harrison for saving me in that last episode and doing that guest spot at the 11th hour. The Madman was a wicked story. It was 2 seasons of wickedness. But my hope is that you all thought while you listened to these seasons, thought about what makes people do what they do. That was the theme of this. There truly is no pure evil in the world. Even the bad guys think they're doing good. It's up to us, the good people, to keep that in mind. The humanists, to make sure that we're empathetic, that we're thinking about someone else before we think of ourselves, that we don't stay silent when we see something wrong being done. We speak up, we defend, we become allies to the human race. That's my hope. And I hope the Madman story got you thinking about those things over these last 2 seasons. Until we speak again, stay wicked.